Hello, everybody. This is Glitch Reaper here, and I'm here with another mod preview. And when I say that, I generally mean it's because they're a work in progress. Although sometimes just, before you actually play it, it'd be good to see what it's like, so, mod preview anyhow. So either way works. This is Magicum. It is a mod that's it's sort of like Mindjecka 3, if you've ever heard of that, but not exactly. I'm pretty sure they're both based on the same game, a game called Magicka, where you basically play as a bunch of really cool wizards going around flinging spells like crazy. So it seems to be a common theme. Now, before I get into the mod, I'd just like to show something very quickly about it. Yeah, you may notice it has a lot of equipment and even custom arrows. Like, it really goes all out here. You've got custom armor with a lot of different things. You have custom sword, bow, arrow. These are actually magic wands down here, although they sort of vaguely resemble bones now that I'm looking at them. I've looked at them a lot, but I'm just saying some of these look like bones, but some of them have more clear models like this one over here. So going around here, you will notice that while most of them have absolute complete sets, there are some that either don't have arrows, they don't have bows or arrows. There's like one over here that just has the sword. Not sure what happened there. What just happened? Did I get hit with a creeper? No. That's a Thaumcraft thing. Never mind. Okay, as I was saying, this one is the Eternal set, so I just said eternally out of arrows to remind him. But over here, this is just Thaumcraft 5 armor, just to compare. And yes, these are vanilla armor stands. Remember, we're past 1.8 people. We have armor stands, so yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of them. As you can see, I got rows. There's literally more armors in this one mod than there is in some whole mod packs. It's kind of ridiculous. And then, of course, you got the other things like the weapons and everything. So you just got a lot of stuff, and it's really cool. But at the same time, it's like just might be a little overwhelming. But there's a reason why. You may notice I have a few buffs over on my right-hand side. That's because these armors grant special bonuses. They may be resistant to magic. That's a definite thing with most of them because this is a magic mod. But another thing about them is they tend to give you different buffs when you have more than one piece on. So as you get up to full set, you'll get more of a... It's like a full set bonus, but it's more like a strengthening of the effects you already have for most of them. Now, you're probably wondering how you get started with this mod that has such cool-looking stuff in it. Well, in this case... interesting feature of this particular crafting table, it holds the stuff in it. So, yeah. This particular recipe isn't always integrated with NEI for some reason, although I bet later on, whenever the mod gets updated to 1.8.9, JEI will probably handle it. But because of this, I decided to put this one particular recipe in here. The book itself describes everything else, and most of it does not have integration right now. But again, this mod is work in progress. Now, whenever you make this book, you should note that they're all connected if they're bound to you. So if you lose your book for any reason and you craft another one, you'll have all your research intact. So yeah, it does have a research system. And you may notice it has multiple tabs, but at the same time, it doesn't quite look like Thaumcraft research, and that's for a pretty good reason. Now, whenever you start out, first, you actually go through some of these things here. Like it's saying about these phenomena, like about mana, and yeah, like a lot of magic mods, it has mana as an energy source. Magicum is special. It's spent magic that still has a use. And I'll get to that a little later. There's Shadow Flux. I am not sure if that is even technically in progress. Now, the first section only, you tap on these completed things here to say that you've completed them. And then you'll move on to the other tiers of research. Now, this one is where you get some of your basics. And you'll have magic, you'll have armors and stuff. But as you go through the mod, it's either what you collect, what you craft, or what you do. It's not something as intricate as Thaumcraft research where you have to do like some sort of mini game or something to progress. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, another thing about having a lot of stuff is, yeah, this represents a lot of the materials in the mod, so you can tell it adds a lot of things. Now, some stuff is special. You'll note that I mentioned that it has a lot of stuff. Well, some of it literally rains from the sky, so it giving you lots of stuff is kind of ridiculous. Now, there are some things you have to mine out and some things you can make, like firing gold. Firing gold is something you can make. You literally just cook normal gold. So, yeah, that's sort of interesting in and of itself, is you're cooking gold to make a special new kind of gold. And it looks like it's on fire, so that's a pretty cool animation there. But there's also some things that really drop out of the sky. As I said, they're meteors, but there's also falling stars. A shooting star just drops down. It has this glowing core that you find glowing on the ground. If you grab that, you'll grab a special product. Now, there's also some things that come from meteors. Like, this is an icy meteor, what it looks like whenever it's fallen. And there's also the, let me see, is this the one that has the, yeah, this is the fiery meteor. And to say how dangerous this really is, a couple have tried landing next to my demonstration area. And yes, they do cause terrain damage when it's a meteor compared to a fallen star. So that is a concern I have for this mod, and one of the reasons why I have it in my testing world but not in my main series is because I'm concerned it would cause damage to a lot of important structures. Like, oh, say, my house? Well, technically I mostly live inside a magic chest, so therefore I don't have to worry about that too much, and I could move it inside. But I would be a bit concerned about that. Personally, I think anything that has destructive meteors should probably have a meteor shield to go with it when it comes to mods, because that just seems to make a lot of sense. You gotta have a defense against that, otherwise it's just randomly griefing you. But, as I was saying about materials, we got that, and when do you get to the magic? Well, that's sort of a process. Like, for example, click here. Sometimes that thing doesn't seem to want to entirely go. Well, anyhow, there's some simple crafting recipes, and there's some not-so-simple ones, but the main thing you need to know is you need to do this in steps. Like, you, with a bit of light gray wool, carpeting, that is, a crafting table and some obsidian, you can get yourself this magic table. Now, the thing is about it is that it's mainly really used to get this. This is your magic crafting table. And this involves an upgrade of more obsidian, diamond, some lapis, and that previous table. And this is where a lot of the crafting happens. So importantly, this is the one you're really after for a lot of things. But this is the one I showed you before. It has this interface. Now, you're probably wondering, why does it have these slots over here and these bars here? Well, this is your mana bar, which you normally use to cast magic. This is your Magicum bar, which is what happens whenever you cast magic and some of it's considered spent but still usable. Now, that will always be 0 and not be earned at all while you're in creative. It will 0 out very quickly if you switch over, so you will burn through everything that you have really quickly, although it's not necessary because you can just grab stuff out of creative. Now, these are special. You'd put these things in here. You're probably wondering, why is that important? Well, if I hold shift here, you'll note that each of them has an elemental symbol. That's very important, because some recipes require a certain amount of these to be expended by having them in those slots and having the correct energies here, as well as the correct crafting pattern like normal, and then that'll create your product. And this can get a bit intricate, especially when earning Magicum is something you have to do actively, and it burns off over time. So you sort of have to have one of these either nearby or have its pattern preset and run over to it, or have one on your person and ready to use whenever you want to. Yeah, it is night. We may or may not see one of those falling star events or meteors. It seems to be fairly frequent. It's like every other day, or rather every other night, technically. So I'd say that's pretty common, especially for something that can put a hole in your environment. Now, over here, you got a special apparatus on top of this. Once you do that, it transforms its purpose indefinitely, and it's how you get these special essences that you need to cast your spells and to do certain types of crafting. So you have this thing on top. If you click on it, nothing happens. It may look decorative, but it's actually changed this thing over here. And as you can see, I got a filled bottle in here. Now the process to get that involves something around here. And again, all this is in the book as to how you craft it. By the way, you also need this intermediate machine block before you can get to the thing you need to extract energies to make stuff. So, yeah. And it says you need meteor steel. I'm not sure in its current form if you can do that, because I've hit those meteors with a diamond pickaxe and it just disintegrated in survival, and this thing does not add any kind of pickaxe. So I'm thinking that's probably a bug, and they'll get over that with time whenever they advance the mod more. So I'm figuring that's probably it. And what is that zombie up there holding? You holding a shovel, or is it something else he picked up? I think he's got a sword. Anyhow, never mind that zombie. But yeah, I think some of this is work in progress enough where you could probably bypass it with the right other mods to help you out, like maybe some custom NPCs for adventuring or something. But basically, it's got a few holes in it, because if you need meteor steel to get up to the next important thing, and you can't actually get the meteor steel, that's a bit of a technicality. Catch-22 if you get the old idea. But anyhow, what this thing does, if you can get a hold of it, apparently, and you may need to go mining, because that's where you get this cassiterite stuff. There are certain ores, including copper, and oddly enough, none of the materials seem to know how to share the Forge dictionary yet. You may also notice that this is decently intricate and requires that machine block, as I said before. So again, trying to get to this is interesting. And this is what you need to get those special bottles. Well, here you have the bar that says you need 25 magic. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how can I use some magic if I can't cast my magic? Well, don't worry, there's certain things you can actually craft normally without having to worry about that. Like, for example, as you unlock stuff, you'll notice that you can actually have these magic rods. Now, you will start out with your magic full, so spending a little magic at first won't be an issue, and it does recharge pretty quickly. But again, here's where you're going to be actually casting your spells, is with these various wands. So, yeah. Now, are any of these able to be crafted normally or simply? Oops, I think I hit the wrong button. I should have hit this one. Well, yeah. You got the wooden wand. This one's pretty simple. If you've got that magic crafting table, you can spend a little bit of the mana that you have naturally and be able to create this. So it's pretty simple. It doesn't require any special materials or special extraction. So with that, you'll unlock higher tiers and stuff. But the spellcasting itself, well, you have to have one of those wands. Like right now, I've got this really powerful wand. It's one of the highest tiers you can get. And I've got a nice fancy sword. But at the same time, the real issue is, what can you do with them? Well, here's my wand. And I can do things like I sort of showed off while I was doing that mob battle, but there's a lot more elements that I can do than just the beams. And to get there, you have to fill up those bottles, because you will use them up whenever you cast your spells. So this is the paradox. How do you get to these, and why do they have special colors? Well, I'll show you why. You see it's got fire here? Well, and no, that doesn't mean that you have to just cook something to get fire. You do use regular fuels to cook stuff up in here, though. This is one of those elemental symbols. Remember how I also showed that certain things have that on them? Well, let's look under the NEI for a moment. You'll notice a lot of things have these magic symbols on them. And this will also be in normal products. So, we just do this. See, they have different elemental symbols. And what you do is you take some of those things and you put them in these elemental extractors, and they will extract the element. Now, once you've set that in the interface, it will stay that particular element that it'll extract indefinitely. So even if you try to break it and then restore it, you will always wind up having it stay the same afterwards. So once you set one of these things, it is stuck. Now let me show you what I mean by that. See, right now it has all these symbols. Well, if I set this one to Ventus, which represents the wind, then it will only really extract Ventus, the wind, from various things. Now you're probably wondering, why do I need to extract? Well, again, this comes down to how do you get your magic. So let's take for an example. See, I was saying this one had fire. Well, let's look for fire, shall we? This one has a little fire. I'm looking for something bigger. So let's say maybe something associated with fire elementals, like a blaze rod. Yeah, that has a lot of fire, so let's put some of this in here and duplicate the stack to use it as fuel. Now note that it will burn through this and build up over here. Well, this is for a very particular reason. You're looking for, and here it comes, aha, these special types of elemental powers. Now, you'll need several of these to fill up your first empty bottle here. So, usually about 3. I think I'll just let that thing build. But, yeah, normally, let's see, going to crafting products again. Simple crafting recipes. You see, in the magic table, you would spend 5 mana and 5 glass to get this essence bottle. Now, essence bottles are one of the simple recipes. You don't have to have Magicum to do them, which is where you get into the process of whole, you have to spend magic to make magic sort of thing. So, while that's happening, let's see here. Just need to get a bottle. There you go. An empty bottle for convenience. Okay, now I have some of these. And I have this alchemical construct thing here, which is also described in the book. It's this thing here, the magical brewing stand. Oh, you have to have already obtained a couple of brewing stands to get this. Tin and quicksilver are just things you can extract from ores, so this doesn't require meteors, so you wouldn't have to worry about that. But what you do is you basically shift-click it on top of that, and then it just transforms into this thing. So, let's fill up a bottle. Right now I've got a water bottle in here I was experimenting with before. And let's see here. Oh wait, I did that a little backwards. I need to have that over there and this over here. Now this doesn't require fuel, it just operates over time. It will basically fill up this bottle and you will be able to see what it can do. Well, I can show off that stuff later, but this will just go on its own. But I guess now I can maybe use some of my magic to show you what this mod is capable of. Now I need to hold on to a wand. Now in survival what would happen is the bottled essences would take durability damage, and might add so would your wand, so you gotta be worried about that. And as they take durability damage, they'll use part of their energy that they've stockpiled to allow you to cast the spell. So, I'm just going to use a little fire. Now, to cast something on yourself, you use right-click, or regular use, but to cast them out into the world and, like, affect creatures and stuff, you actually use the attack button, in this case, left-click. So, I'm burning the skeleton. And as you can imagine, fire magic catches things on fire, so be careful near anything made of wood. I would not suggest that if you're near a wooden house. So, yeah, please build out of stone if you're trying to use fire magic. Okay, rain. I guess we're that problem. Hehe, a little magic from another mod. Comes in handy. Or at least it should have. Hey, you. Clear out. I said... Yep, there we go. Thank you. As I was saying, I already showed fire. Now, this one's burning. This is another nice conical spell. Really? Well, on the other hand, it keeps him from burning, so I can freeze him myself. So you... Oh. Chilly. I didn't have enough time to reach the water. I was going to try to freeze it. Okay, this ought to help. And yeah, that has the side effect of freezing blocks, as I was trying to suggest. Now we also, so we've tried fire, we've tried cold. Now, are you hurt by any chance, Pig? You're not? You're not? I'll just peck you a little. I need to peck you a bit, just to show how I can heal you. I'm sorry that it is a little weird, but it'll work. Okay, you're not quite half down, but I can repair that. Now you can queue up to 5 either pure mana types or combinations. So, and now you're a nice healthy pig. So, yep, see, everything's good. I help heal you, Pig. And I keep having to clear the weather with this. Oh well, as I was going, you've probably seen the arcane beam a bit before, which is what happens whenever I... Now note that certain things are opposites, and once you've completely queued up, you can't queue up anything else. So, yeah. Now, also remember, you can queue up even if you're not holding your wand, but you need to use your wand to blast things. Even during a mod preview, these guys are annoying. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can buff myself up here. Did that give me anything? I think it did. Yeah, it gave me some regen and stuff, so yeah. Just to show you can do that. But meanwhile, since this is a robot, I guess electrical power would be a good idea. Nice and thunderous. Just the way lightning should be. Okay, so there's your lightning spell. Now, not everything's a beam or a cone, might I add. There's some things that are projectiles and have other side effects. So let's do about half power and... Yeah, that's the power of water. Now, the thing about it is you will also be able to create water sources, so that one could get a little messy. Now, if you directly hit a creature with it, you will deal a bit of damage. Like, for example, if I were to... I'll do this weak, so I don't whack the pig in one shot. There you go. Sorry, pig. You're not exactly having a good day, are you? So I'll make up for it. I'll heal you. There you go. Good pig. Okay. Now, we also have the power of stone, or earth. Now, this thing is a projectile shot, but it also can mine blocks when it hits. Yeah, it even has this karate-style whack whenever it hits, so it's sort of funny that way. It's like, smack! So, yeah, that happens. Oop. Wrong thing. Okay. Now, wind is particularly fun. Ooh, I have some very nice targets for that. Because wind allows you to... fling things. Like, seriously fling things. Yeah. It will often be a one-shot when it comes to creatures with about 20 health and below, so that would be absurdly powerful. Just saying. And it will come in incredibly handy, as you could imagine. Now, is there any other major victims I can go for? I mean, experimental subjects. Yeah, because I still need to show circle magic in its basic form. Yeah, well, let's see. Pig, are you gonna survive? Nope. Sorry, I was doing the karate chop sound, and now I just have the pork chop sound. Okay, well, that took care of that. Now, shield. I've got this currently set a little weird. Or barrier magic. It's usually meant more to be on you. Apparently, it really makes you seriously invulnerable for a while, because I've got instant health for a period of time, and that basically means you're practically invincible whenever it's constantly ticking away. Yeah, I can tell what that is. It'll probably go away fairly soon. At least I think so. Because if that's stuck there, that's a bit of a bug. Because it should cycle out very fast. Or maybe that's something else I got on. Nope, something else is cycling. Oh well, never mind. Now, I am curious, what will shield magic do whenever you use it? That looks pretty cool. That is very cool. It's... Ooh, bumps you around a bit if you hit it. Oh, I'm stuck. Ooh, that was freaky. Okay, that was interesting. So, magic barrier, if you run into it the wrong way, you will get a little bouncy. Now, there's also combination spells and stuff that you can do as well. So, that is also really cool. Like, oh, let's say I wanted to do one of them. Well, let's see here. I know a few of them off the top of my head, and it does explain them in the book in the magic section. Like in magic, it's not just about the wands, it also describes what the elements do. Now, how you complete your research on these, well, remember how I said it's either what you do, or what you craft, or what you find? Well, this is more what you do, because as you cast your magic, you complete your research on it. So, it's sort of a weird way of doing Catch-22. It's like, well, how would I know? Well, that's where you experiment around with those elements and stuff. Now, the thing is, you will need a lot of keybinds, so I'd suggest doing a little trick or two to get around that. But, for now, let's see here. We've got vapor, which is steam power. We've got gravity. That is extremely explosive. It's more like a landmine. We got something that's a life drain, and we have something that's kind of a little redundant with the cold power, and it's the power of ice. But it does have a special advantage, and I see another one of those robots, and I must totally get rid of it. Okay, so, when you queue up cold and water, you get ice. And I'm going to go full on here. So, where did you go? Because I was sort of paying attention to my button mashing at the time. Ah, there you go. Notice how you also put them in an ice cube. Definitely is very useful. Acts as a barrier for about a second. I'm not sure if it holds onto them for longer while they're alive or what. I'd have to use a much healthier creature than them. So let's go over here to my experimental area, because I have something over here that has more health. So, let's see here. Will you survive one hit? That's all I need you to do. Wow. That did a lot of damage, and it didn't stick on him. Oh well. Never mind. Sorry. But at the same time, I could probably use one in a different way. Let's experiment with something else here. Remember I said I had some other combos like gravity? Well, here one comes. So, I got... Yeah, now the thing is, I've got that queued up there, but it won't discharge unless I use the wand. So, I just get off there and bingo. Now, I've got the power of gravity right now. And yeah, you can do all sorts of elements in your mix, so yeah. Okay, let's... Did I fling you up a bit, or was it down? Last rays of the sun. Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't a fire spell. Oh, you still got a little left, do you? Well, that makes this next move a little convenient. Because I'm curious if I'll fling you at all, because I don't think it works that way. I think it's just stronger than the regular circle, actually. Because it dealt a lot more damage, and I'm not using an armor that boosts my magic. What I mean by that is, as I was saying before, how they have different effects. Some of them will boost your magic. Namely, this set over here, Mariadum. If I wear this, I will become really powerful with my offense and defense with magic. Because I'll be able to heal more, hit harder, and other effects will be stronger. So it just boosts all your magic, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Now, because it's night, this may be convenient once more for another reason. Remember how I mentioned landmines? Yeah, it's about that time, because I'm curious if I can get something to just walk on it. Spiders usually are pretty willing. So, let's see if I can get you into the right area. I'm going to create a very, very powerful mine. Will you walk on it? Do I have to push you? I don't know if I can do that exactly. I mean, wind only throws things upwards. It doesn't... maybe I should use something as more of a pair of natural enemies, and then watch one of them just blow up. Or I could overcrowd this area and watch the area explode. That might speed things up a bit. Anybody gonna walk on this? Thank you. Well, I proved my point. It even has a different kind of animation to it. It's like a brilliant flash and spider creeper. Spider mod does whatever a spider mod does. Yeah, I don't think it was meant to be with creepers. Sorry. Sorry, just sorry. Now, there is another combination that's very interesting. It's water and life. So, very appropriate in a storm, I see. Now, I'm in creative now, but if I were in survival, this would be very useful for a very specific reason. It allows you to deal damage while healing yourself, because it's basically a drain beam. So, it looks cool, and some of that would be going to me if I was injured. So, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Okay, I'm back over here. Now, let's see here. Is there anything left that I can think of? I've shown ice, landmines, the drain beam. I've shown the combination that does the whole gravity thing. Let's see. Is there anything I could possibly be missing out on in terms of the spells? Because it doesn't have, like, specifically learned spells that you have to go out in the world and learn yet, but that is planned. So magics, as opposed to spells, is definitely going to be a thing if that gets done. I don't know if the Bedrock Miner will be able to get to everything, but we'll see. But yeah, this is done by the Bedrock Miner. Just reminder. Now, let me see here. Does the book say anything else that I need to show off? Nope. I showed gravity, ice. Oh wait, vapor. Vapor. I about forgot about vapor. Oh, how could I forget about this one? So, steam power? Yeah. Now, a good thing about this one is it doesn't burn the environment. But it is considered hot. Whoa. How did I hit that stuff? There's this weird glitch that seems to happen whenever I try hitting a block with this. It doesn't count as a sword, so it's... should break it completely, but at the same time just like instantly pops back. I don't know what's up with that, but at the same time I guess it's a bit of safety so that if you're in creative you don't destroy everything. Did it count it sort of like hitting something with a sword? Because this is hitting something with a modded sword. See, it doesn't do anything at all. So, yeah, I don't know why it did that, but anyhow, let's burn this concussion creeper here the rest of the way, shall we? And it's a big cone, so it helps. Now, this does have a bit of pressure, so it's sort of like an intense wind as well. So I guess I could use that to throw some things around. And there is his poofed spirit, so he's gone. I was really hoping that there's be some meteors or some shooting stars this time, but it's not happening. It is a random phenomena, but it does happen in your general vicinity, so wherever there are players is where they're going to show up. So that actually means that the longer you're at a location... Whoa, I thought I just saw a streak. The longer you're at a location that's important to you, the more of a chance of you having it hit and destroyed. So, yeah, that's definitely a thing, and I'm clearing the weather. I thought I saw a streak that might be one of those things, but I don't know for sure. Is that... No, that's just the bonus chest. For a while I thought I saw a shooting star. That would have been really cool. It's like a last moment thing to show up here. But yeah, the book guides you through fairly well in a way. I was having issues myself earlier because it was ironically too simple. You just had to craft your and explore your way through it. Actually, you didn't really have to do intricate stuff. So I'm going, how do you get your research? And apparently, it's actually a lot simpler than it first looked. So yeah, I'll get rid of a few things here that I don't need, including the extra bottle. And just a little note: it does display which bottle you currently have in. Yep. It's just a bit of extra. I don't have any additional empty bottles, so you can't just continue there. But I do believe it will also show the empty bottle, so just thinking about that. Yep, it'll show whether or not it's empty too. That's nice. Oh well, I think I've shown off everything I can for now about it. I mean, there's a lot to these things here. And the weapons all have their special abilities as well. Like some will set things on fire, add weakness effects, poisoning. Some will, some of these sets will give you things like fire resistance and stuff. But it's actually got a lot of it. I mean, you might want to go through it yourself, but here's just a few examples. Like Star Steel, it gives you something called Silver Rain. I'm not even sure what that is. Now, this one is more direct. It gives you resistance bonuses. As I said, Magicum gives you magic strength, mana regeneration, celerity. Still not sure of the celerity. I mean, there's something I keep seeing as like an invisibility effect, but that might be a conflict. Frost Armor gives you that, but it also gives you strength too. Cassiterite, which as I said is some of those things you have to mine up, gives you night vision and effect resistance. So I guess that would keep prevent you from being poisoned a bit more, which is nice. Now, remembering these crafting recipes, some of these you can craft regularly. Like this is just saying crafting it here. It doesn't have anything intricate. Well, some of these get intricate. Like you need some of those elements to be drawn off by those special bottles being in there, and it'll take a certain amount of durability off them to represent these numbers being taken out. And look at this. This price has 200 Magicum and 200 mana. While testing this out in survival, I've proven to myself it is difficult to get enough Magicum to do that. Like, you can be casting spells like crazy and barely get like 40 points. So that would be an achievement. I mean, seriously, being able to get those pieces all powered up would be a serious achievement. So congrats if you can do that. If you can craft that validly, it'd be just wow. And of course, there's different sets that do other things, like again, more simple things, fire resistance. And you have some of these that are still normal, but just wow to that type of creation cost. Now, this one requires 40 points here and 120 points of mana. So if you're trying to make Mithril, which will give you some resistances and some magic strength, which would be a decent balance, you're going to need some of the earth element. And you're going to need pieces of, well, some things that are right now not obtainable in survival. It says it right there. So you can tell this is work in progress. So, yeah. And I keep having storms and stuff show up. The weather is wild, both my actual location and in Minecraft. It's sort of ridiculous. While I'm doing this right now, the net is having technical difficulties. So, yeah, I don't know when I'll have this out. I just need to block that water. That's just gonna be annoying later. Thank you. Okay. I think that is everything I can really reveal about it right now. Except one last note. Remember how I mentioned all these bows and arrows have a purpose? You can mix and match those. So you can use really high-end bows, really high-end arrows, or low ones. Now, some of them forbid infinity enchantments. Some of them do forbid infinity, and some of them let you use infinity. So that note will be on the arrow or the bow in certain ways. Especially the arrow more than the bow, because, you know, it just makes sense that if it's saying that it can't be used with infinity, that would be the one. Like on these, it'll say how much regular attack and magic damage it does, and it says no infinity. This one says how much attack and magic damage it does, and it says it can use infinity. Some of these have special effects, like this one will slow and can be infinite. That's nice. And the bows themselves also mention if they have some special effect, like paralysis, poison. And it'll also say something about the arrow level. Something I didn't mention before, because again, it's been a while since I've been able to do this. But the arrow levels here are stated right here. That shows what is compatible with the bow. So it's mix and match mostly, but there's a few things you have to consider. Like some will only use higher level arrows, so that could get expensive over time whenever you're gathering high-end materials. Although, ironically, the higher-end stuff tends to rain out of the sky. So, yeah, if it's Star Steel, Moriatum, or if it is a special magical star piece, they will come down in falling stars. The meteor-related stuff, on the other hand, apparently can't be mined right now, so I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. But I think that's basically it for this mod at this time, because, again, it's work in progress. It is serviceable in some ways, but I'd kind of suggest it more as just something to play around with this time. I mean, it's really fun, but whenever it's done, it will be awesome, and then I'd totally want to like play around with it and do all sorts of cool stuff in survival whenever it's all becomes serviceable. But because a lot of this stuff is not obtainable, sure, a lot of it is obtainable, but some of it isn't. That could make things a bit of hit and miss. Like, you could be using low-end stuff from the mod just because that's all that it's letting you have, while other stuff is clearly available. I mean, you can just go into creative and grab that. Maybe have a salesman get it to you with a little role play or something. And the armor models and stuff is very cool, so it looks very promising. I just really wish it was more like finished for survival usage right now, because there's just so many things that even specifically note it says, sorry, this is not obtainable in survival, it's work in progress. But can you see how well done this is now? Could you imagine what this will be like whenever it's considered finished? That would be awesome. Well, since I can't seem to do anything more with this in one way or the other, I guess it's just time to sign out. And whoops, darn angle. I was going to show off this awesome armor right as I left. This magical star set is so cool. Yeah, just look at this awesome model before I leave, and I wind up angling myself into the magical brewing stand instead. Oh well. Well, anyhow, this is Glitch Reaper, and I'll be signing off for now. But my final thoughts is this is very, very promising. It is work in progress, so this preview has shown a lot of what it can do. Most of which is current. You can make this workable, but the really good stuff is still in waiting. And more than that, it will have things like mobs, bosses, more types of research, and even something called a magical tesseract. Yeah, that sounds really cool too, so it looks promising, and I really hope to see more of this mod in the future. So this is Glitch Reaper doing a preview of Magicum and signing out. So bye for now.